just start the introduction. All right. And that would be right about now. Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Rafia Sufi, and I'm an Education USA advisor in the Lahore office. I believe that over the next couple of minutes, we're going to have our Competitive College Club students join us from Lahore, Karachi, and Islamabad. I'm very excited to have Dr. Nikki Charles with us today. She is the Director of International Student Programs for summer session at Duke University. I understand that many of you had expressed interest in attending some of their summer programs, so who better to tell you all about the summer sessions at Duke than Dr. Charles, who is here with us today. Just to remind you that we will be recording this webinar, so in case you or your friends or anyone else who would like to view the webinar at a later stage, get in touch with me, and I'm going to be sharing with you the direct link to view the webinar. Another thing is, if you have questions about any of the programs or anything that Dr. Charles is going to be talking about today, please do hold off on your questions until after the webinar concludes. So we'll do a quick question and answer session. And if you would like to keep in touch with Dr. Charles regarding any of the summer programs, please do make sure that you let her know or let me know, and I'm going to be sending your emails to her if that's something that you would like. So without further delay, Dr. Charles, all yours.
Thank you, Rafia. I'm so pleased to be speaking with all of the students today. I wanted to first talk about a rather generic and broad subject. The topic being, what are the benefits to international students to attending a summer program in the United States? There are many, many very good programs in the United States. And one of the things that we notice with international students is sometimes they don't quite understand how to choose a great summer program, one that is a good fit for the students. So one of the things that we hear from our international students is that going to a summer college program is very much like taking a test drive for college when you go to the United States. The international students who come to our programs sometimes feel a little bit challenged by the differences in the educational system in the U.S. and the educational system from their home country. And some of these differences can be a little difficult, a little uncomfortable. Usually our students don't have a problem with the level of academics. The areas where they find challenging are the areas where what we call soft skills are required. So one difference in an expectation from a U.S. professor might be that all students participate, have opinions in class, and have the confidence and the ability to state those opinions and almost debate and discuss with other students and with the professor. This requires a great deal of confidence. This requires some practice. This is something that our international students don't typically encounter in many of their classrooms. So the ability to have this test drive, or have this practice when it comes to having a discussion with your classmates and even debating with your professor, forming your own opinion rather than just repeat back what the instructor is telling you, is definitely something that is expected in college classrooms. Our high school students who come to Duke over the summer find that getting practice at an early age and building the confidence in their public speaking and their group work with other students is really quite beneficial. Of course, credit and grades are helpful, but what we look at is many programs will offer credit. Many programs will offer grades, but not all programs offer the ability for students to be able to gain skills in these soft skill areas. The other part that I hear from our international students that's quite beneficial is sometimes our international students are so focused on getting into a U.S. college that sometimes they think that's kind of the end goal without realizing that that's just the beginning. What we want our students to do is come to college over the summer and have some practice at being in college, learn the culture, learn the educational system, start reaching out and branching out to practice reaching out to the larger community, so that when you go to college, you're not isolated or within yourself or focusing solely on academics. Because as we know, the benefit to top quality universities such as Duke is the opportunity to broaden yourself in many areas. And of course, improving English language skills is another benefit. And sometimes we have students who score quite high on tests with regard to English language, and yet they don't have as much practice interacting with other students or confidence speaking to professors. And so these are just a few of the benefits, and I'm speaking broadly. I'm not speaking just about Duke University. I would say that it's quite important for you to look at many different universities. As silly as it might sound, some people in the US think that everybody in one country is all the same. The culture of one country is the same throughout the country. Well, sometimes we find that our international students don't really know the differences in the regions, the cultures of the regions of the US, even how the weather may impact you, and also the cultures of different types of universities, such as private versus state-run universities. So the time during high school is really meant to be used to explore the different types of cultures in the U.S., the different types of universities, the different expectations from professors. And this way, when students are ready to apply to college, they're applying to college with a bit more information than had they never attended a university in the U.S. Okay? So that's some of our benefits, and what I'd like to do now is just talk about our programs at Duke, and give you some information about why you might want to choose Duke for your summer program. Duke, of course, is a top-rated private research university. We have a worldwide reputation for excellence. We are quite rigorous in our academic expectations and our screening process for students to attend our summer programs. Our classes, therefore, are rigorous and intellectually challenging. We want to be very clear that when we invite students to come to Duke, this is not a cultural camp or a way simply to practice English, but the expectations at Duke over the summer are that you understand that the classes are rigorous and quite intellectually challenging. There's one thing different at Duke that you may not find at other universities, and that is we're committed to the creation of global citizens. And so about half of our students come from international locations, and about half come from the United States. We believe that for a student to be fully rounded, to be able to compete in the world today, that it's very helpful to have experience with different cultures. Experience living and learning with people from outside of your country so that you can gain perspectives from around the world and share yours as well. Therefore, at a summer at Duke, you will see that you'll have a chance to perhaps have a roommate from another country, maybe from the US. And we really want to encourage this type of global citizenship throughout our program, regardless of the academic topic that a student might be taking. Our program fees are quite competitive with top universities. We are not in the business of trying to make money off of students. That's not our goal at all. Our goal is to create an intellectual and international environment for students where they can explore different academic topics, explore the different cultures of the universities in the U.S., and gain this experience. When freshmen at U.S. universities don't find success in college, it's rarely because of the academics. These students come to, they're accepted to a university because they have great grades, because they're academically excellent. Where they find the challenges is within these soft skills, within these cultural expectations, the difference of the U.S. education, and with the, sometimes our students will feel a bit isolated when they go to a college without having developed the skills to fully integrate and have a meaningful experience in college. So the summer program at Duke really helps students to gain that experience, to find success when they're at college, not just to get into college. We also see that if there's a program that has very few international students, and sometimes our international students are feel a little bit, outside. If there's a program that has too many international students, then they don't really feel like, well, hey, I'm getting a true U.S. cultural experience. Therefore, at Duke, by having this balance of international and U.S. students, everyone benefits this type of experience and this type of demographics. We do have very strong residential, evening, weekend programs, and this creates a rich environment outside of class. It's something that we believe very strongly, that where the academic part of the program is the head of the program, the residential program is the heart. This is where the students connect emotionally to the program, and this is where the program can become very, very meaningful for students. At Duke, we have two programs. We have a program called Summer College for high school students, and then Summer Academy for high school students. So let's start first with Summer College. Our Summer College program is our longest program. This is a 4-week program at Duke. Our dates are July 10th through August 5th. And in this program, students will come to Duke and will take a class for academic credit. They may take class with other Duke undergraduate students. For all intents and purposes, you are a Blue Devil for the summer. You get a card that shows that you're a Duke student, and you have access to the same facilities and the same experience as a Duke undergraduate student. This program is open to students who are currently in grades 10 and 11. That means the grade you're in right now, grade 10 and 11, not where you're going next year. We have optional evening film series for personal enrichment. And then we also provide some optional academic opportunities to learn a bit more about SAT training, academic writing, and college preparation. Because this is a credit-bearing program, we do help students to get their student visa. We'll work with you to get the I-20 in order to get that paperwork completed so that you're able to come to the program on a student visa. This program does require a language proficiency test. We would look at a TOEFL score. The minimum score we would want is 90. Our preference is about 100, but we will look at students with a TOEFL score of 90 or an IELTS score of 7. We also have an alternative test. It's through a company that we work with. It's not a test that Duke gives, and we will refer you to that company if you have not yet signed up for your TOEFL or your IELTS. Again, our weekend excursions, our social opportunities are quite strong, so that students have an opportunity to experience life not only within college, but outside of college as well. The price on our program is $8,250 US. One thing to note when you're looking at pricing a program, some things to watch out for. First, you want to watch out if there are hidden fees. It may look like the price of the program is lower, and yet as you're going through the application process, you realize there's quite a large fee for some other things that you don't notice at first. So keep an eye on that. Another thing to look at is try to look at the price by week. Some programs may look really, really expensive. Well, that's because they're 10 weeks long versus 4 weeks. Some programs may look like they're quite inexpensive, and then you realize, well, that's because the program is very short. It's only 1 week. The most expensive part of running a program on a college campus is the housing and the meals. And so the longer you're on a campus, the higher price that you will pay. And one final thing to look at with regard to credit programs is the number of credits that are offered by a program. In order for Duke to offer the one Duke credit, which often transfers to 3 or even 4 credits at other universities, is that there needs to be a certain number of contact hours between the professor and the student. How many hours you're in class? And so be careful as you're looking, and a program may say you get 1 credit where in fact that will translate to a third of a credit, because typically they award 3 credits per class. Just some things to look out for as you're exploring different options for your programs in the summer. Let's talk about academic life. Summer college. Well, you'll take a class. The class is 2 hours every day. Now, I want to be very clear that this is a very intense program. We are taking a full semester of academic class, and we are putting it into 1 month. So what does this mean? Well, it means that in class for every 2 hours where you're working with a professor, you're taking your notes, you have outside work. Our students tell us that typically they study and they do independent work between 3 and 6 hours every day. So you've got your 2 hours in class with your professor, taking your notes, doing your group work with other students, and then you can expect to have 3 to 6 hours of independent work every day in preparation for that program. It moves very quickly. Over a month time, it seems like you get here and then quite quickly you may have a midterm or you may have a paper due, or even within your first week you might have a presentation to give. And so also be prepared for the rapidity of the class. It goes quite quickly. In the evening, as I said, there's the optional film series and our optional expos. And these are academic in nature, but of course optional, not required. I'd like you to take a moment to look at some of our classes. These are just a few examples of classes that we offer here at Duke over the summer. But I wanted to show these to you because our goal in choosing our classes in the summer is not just to accelerate learning. We don't want to offer topics that students would typically encounter in a high school classroom. We want to broaden the type of academics that you might learn about. Again, this is your time of exploration. This is the time when you might be choosing a college based on your interest. So in high school, you may be taking mathematics or calculus, but in college, you can come and take game theory, which is probability and economics. In high school, you may have biology, then you come to Duke and you could take 3D genome. So our goal here in choosing our courses is to introduce topics to high school students that they typically would not have the opportunity to be introduced to in a high school setting. Of course, our evening film series, they're optional. We have many different some are academic with documentaries and our science films, and some are pure fun where we explore some films who have won Oscars. So let's take a moment now and talk about our second program, our Summer Academy for high school students. This program's a bit shorter. It's 3 weeks rather than 4 weeks. And it's offered to students who are currently in grade 9, 10, 11, and 12. We have some new courses, and as I mentioned, we are committed to the development of global citizens here at Duke over the summer. Therefore, we offer our classes, 3 different classes that help students to grow as a global citizen. One class, our Global Leader, looks at leadership and diplomacy, whereas some classes you would go to class, you would learn about a topic, you would take a test, and you're finished. In this class, we actually develop a type of transformational experience. We're looking to provide an opportunity for students to develop as a person, to become an inspiring leader that other people want to follow. Our leadership course is not a management course. We're not going to teach you how to boss people around. Instead, we're going to do work with you to help you understand, become aware of yourself, learn how to regulate your emotions, learn how to be mindful in your practice and your interactions with people. We work on communication so that when you're working with a group, you're able to fully communicate and be a compassionate leader with others. And then we also work on public speaking, because you may have a great idea, and unless you can communicate your great ideas to other people, sometimes you may not be able to lead those ideas into fruition. Another great class that we have is the Global Entrepreneur. In this course, we look at inventions and innovations and initiatives. One thing that we notice is that many great ideas emerge from the United States. And so we look at that and we say, what is it about the United States educational system that produces all of these great thinkers and these great ideas, and the ability to actually put them into practice? Well, we believe it's two things. One of the skills, if you will, or experiences that we offer in the Global Entrepreneur course, it focuses on creative thinking. This idea where you can solve problems quite creatively, not just look at how other people solve problems and do what other people do, but instead look at a unique problem and come up with a creative way of solving this problem, be it in business, in invention, or even perhaps with social change that you may want to implement. And then we couple this creative thinking with the experience of building confidence, so that when you are going out to try to implement your idea, you have such a confidence in yourself. You really do believe that you can do anything. And this means giving you experiences with maybe failing, maybe an idea that didn't work out the first time. Because as we know, that sometimes it is through failure, it is through missing the mark at the beginning, where you try and try again with great confidence that you emerge feeling like, I can do anything. Coupling this creative thinking with this confidence within yourself that you can do anything, this is how some great ideas emerge from the U.S., and it's an experience that we want to help students have here at Duke through Global Entrepreneur. And then our last class, the Global Giver. We hear from many of our international students that sometimes you feel a little disadvantaged with regard to community service because there's not maybe as many opportunities in your hometown or your home country as a U.S. student might find. And therefore, when it's time to apply for college and you need to talk about how you've given back to your community, you may not have had an opportunity because there may not be this experience within your community. Therefore, we invite students to come to Duke and in the morning learn about how to create a great community service project that is created through your unique skills and the needs of your community. And then in the afternoon, we take you out to actually do community service, to have experience within the community. Students will earn 60 hours of community service during this program, receive a certificate. This may greatly enhance your college application. Certainly it will enhance your ability to know how to give back and the rewards of giving back to your community. And you finish with having designed your own project, which you may want to implement when you go back home. For our Summer Academy program, we do not require a language proficiency test. So we have many students who may come the first year to Summer Academy, and they develop their English language skills, develop their language, develop as a global citizen, and they then take their TOEFL score, they improve their English, and they may come back for summer college the next year. So in this course, this is a great program for students who want a college experience, may not have the language proficiency to succeed in the college level classroom with a grade, but develop those language skills and that experience. And of course, we do have the excursions and the social opportunities. The price for this program, as you can see, also includes everything, the housing, the meals, just like summer college. And the only thing that it does not include is your flight to come, and then there may be some extra books that you need to pick up. So our academic life for Summer Academy is quite different from summer college. Whereas in summer college, you go in class for 2 hours and then independently studying for 3 to 6 hours each day. In Summer Academy, all of the work happens during the classroom. And so we'll have class in the morning through about 3:30 or 4 in the afternoon, and there's no homework. So if there are readings that the professor wants you to understand, you might do this in a group as a jigsaw reading experience where each person reads a portion of an article and then reports out as to what they learned. Because this is an experiential and a transformational experience through Academy, this means that we want you to be involved in the classroom throughout the day and not just sitting in your dorm room reading a book in the evening. Then, of course, the evening options with film series and educational expos are available to our Summer Academy students as well as Summer College. Let's take a moment and talk about residential life. Residential life for both academy and college is the same. Students will come to the program and they'll go to class during the day. We try to have students finish up class around that 4 o'clock time, whether they're doing their independent study through summer college or whether they're in class at the summer academy. That leaves the afternoon open. This is for all of the residential programming. We might have board games. We might have cooking or baking activities. It could be a larger sporting event that students are engaged in, volleyball or badminton or frisbee. We create a structure whereby students are able to simply sign up for an activity so that they're not required to always be the ones responsible for going out and making friends on their own. Just sign up for an activity. Our residential assistants and our residential team is there to run the activity and help students interact very organically, very fluidly with each other so that they can form friendships without sometimes the social pressure students might feel about having to go out on their own and make friends. So that whole afternoon is to explore campus life. There's a small area off campus that students are allowed to go to, many residential activities and meals. And so one thing I want to mention about the way that we do our meals here at Duke is our students are responsible young adults who are coming to Duke for an academic experience, and we treat them as such. This is not a camp for little children where we're babysitting people and we have to be with them all the time. You know, we want our students to gain an experience of independence and gaming skills. And we always will have staff members available, but students are allowed to go to lunch with their friends without having an adult holding their hand the entire time. And then, of course, our evening, they can continue to explore campus life, do those academic film series that we talked about or the expos. By 10 o'clock, we have our residence hall meetings. This is a smaller group. About 15 to 20 students get together in a group with their RA. This is time not only to learn about the logistical information for the activities coming up, but it's also a time for icebreakers and community building. Each RA group is a smaller community within the larger summer college community, so that friendships are also able to be developed in that smaller group setting. We do like our students to be quiet around 11 o'clock. This is the time when you go to college, students need their rest, and so it's quiet time after about 11 o'clock in the evening. And then, of course, in the weekends, we have many excursions and activities. We'll go to a Durham Bulls baseball game, do some shopping. There's optional religious service if students want to attend those. There's study, there's research, and many activities for students both on and off campus. We have a full support staff for our students. There's, of course, our Duke faculty and our the Duke staff members that are available for the students, but we also have an internal team, director, an academic team, dean of residence life, residence hall director. We even have tutors to help our summer college students succeed in their classroom. Our timeline, quite important. We started putting information about our programs up on the website around mid-October. We've been accepting applications since December 1st. We do encourage students to apply early because sometimes our classes will fill up. So a student could be a great candidate, could be selected for the program, but their top choice in class may have already filled. So this is why we encourage students to apply early so that they can get accepted, start working on their visa and their travel arrangements, and get into the class of their choice. So let's look at the admission criteria for the program. Well, we need students to submit a transcript. It can be an unofficial transcript if you like. And it could be a grade report if you haven't yet received the full-year transcript. We expect that students will write an essay. The essay will tell us why you're a good candidate for the program and what it is about Duke and the class that is interesting to you. Why do you want to choose this class in Duke? We do make sure that, well, students can get help for your essay. You might want to have somebody review it, check your grammar, check your spelling. We want to be very clear that the essay is coming through your voice. So we encourage students to do the work on their own, independently. Certainly someone can review the work, but we want to hear from you. We want to hear your voice. We want you to create a resume. A resume is kind of a picture of the whole student, whereas the transcript will tell us academically what students have done. The resume will give us an idea of what you're doing outside of class. Maybe you won some awards. That could be something you want to tell me about. Perhaps you're doing some volunteer or community service. This is important for me to know. You might have some extracurricular activities that you'd like to share. Maybe you're a president of a club. Maybe you started a club. Perhaps you are doing some type of competition outside of class. This is all of your extracurriculars. So we want to know about your leadership roles, your volunteer service, any awards, and any extracurricular activities. We do require a recommendation letter. This is both for summer college and summer academy. This recommendation letter can come from a counselor or it can come from a teacher. And we do want someone who's going to confirm that, yes, you will be able to succeed at our program here at Duke, be it summer college or summer academy. And then, of course, for the summer college program, not for summer academy, you would need to provide your language proficiency test score, the TOEFL, the IELTS, or the test through the company that we would recommend to you. So I'll give you my details. Here, we started accepting the applications December 1st. We will conclude the admissions process on April 15th in order to give everyone enough time to arrange for their travel and their visas, etc. And so, as I said, while we conclude the admissions process on April 15th, we do require that you apply early so that if there's a particular class you want to get in before it fills up. And then this is my email address. And there's the website. On the website, you'll find all of the application materials. You need to apply online in some cases. And I also want to direct you to the student blog for both Summer College and Summer Academy. Our students from the 2015 program wrote every day, took pictures. This gives you a day-by-day experience from the student's point of view. Whereas the director of the program, I can tell you about what you might experience. I think it's really helpful to get the student's point of view and to hear from other students about not only their residential but their academic experience here at Duke over the summer 2015. There's one other program that I just want to mention briefly. This is for middle school students. I know you guys aren't middle school students, but we did want to just share briefly a bit of information about this program with you. This is our Honors Institute. This program for middle school is not just it's not a homestay or cultural or language institute. This is a program for students who want to take a class to accelerate their learning over the summer. This is an elite program for top students, currently in grades 6 through 8. Students will have a visitor visa, and then, of course, the price there is $5,650. And as with Summer College and Summer Academy, that does include everything that you're flying. Books. There's 2 classes that we're offering. We have the biomedical study of cancer and the mysterious world of forensic science. So students can come in and they can be a detective and learn how to investigate a crime scene. Or they can come in and learn a bit more about the study of cancer. We started registering students on December 1st, and of course our registration ends on the 15th. A bit different for our middle school program in that they do not need to go through a full application process. They simply are allowed to get right online and register. So here is the website, and there's one other program for middle school students called the youth programs. And there's many different classes, and so I'll also share with you the website through Learn More for our 2 youth programs for our middle school students. So that concludes the formal presentation that I have for our 2 high school programs and our middle school program. And now I believe we have time to take some questions from you.
Thank you, Dr. Childs. That was really, really helpful. For those of you who have any questions about the summer programs or any questions that you think that Dr. Childs will or may be able to answer, please ask away. I wish I was young enough to attend one of these sessions, by the way. Guys, do you have any questions? Yeah, application deadline, please. Could you repeat that?
Sure. The application deadline is April 15th. However, we encourage students to apply early because as classes fill, you may not be able to get into your top choice of classes. We will not accept applications after April 15th, and we encourage earlier application.
Another question, is there any financial aid for international students for any of the summer programs?
We do not offer financial aid either for U.S. or for international students for this program.
Okay, so that would also then answer, are there any scholarships awarded for summer school?
Right, there's the same thing with financial aid and scholarships. We do not offer those for the summer programs.
Could you also just answer this again, please?
So the TOEFL or the IELTS would be necessary for the summer college program. There are some exceptions that I can make to this requirement. If, for example, a student attended an international school where they were studying in English throughout their academic career, and we have evidence of that, then we may be able to look at waiving that. However, this is decided on an individual basis. We do not simply waive an entire school. I used to work at Cairo American College, and at CAC it was all taught in English, and one student could arrive halfway through the year and not really have had much experience, and another student could have been at the school for 10 years. So it really just does depend on the individual application, but there are cases where I might be able to waive that requirement. We also, as I said, oh, go ahead, Rafael. Yeah?
I said I'd also like to point out that though your requirement for Duke might be waived to take the TOEFL, at some point when you're going to be applying for your visa, it may be a visa requirement as well. So I would recommend you just take the TOEFL or the IELTS and get it out of the way because it will be valid for quite a few years.
That's a great suggestion. And then again, we will refer you to this company that can provide a test for us. We don't collect money for it. It's not a company that is affiliated with Duke, but we have found their results to be quite helpful and useful if a student does not have the time or the ability to take the TOEFL or the IELTS in time for application.
Right. Here's probably a question that you receive a lot. So, does attending the summer school significantly increase our chances of being accepted into universities later on?
That is a question that we receive quite often, and one thing I'd like you to look at is all top universities will tell you there is no direct correlation between taking a summer program and getting into the undergraduate program. Some lesser universities might use that as enticement to come to their college, but that's not something that top universities would ever do. However, we do find that the students who attend a summer program at a top university, they not only make better choices when it comes to which college are they going to attend, because they're able to find a better match, they've got more experience. But when they get into college, they succeed better and more because of the fact that they've had this experience, they've had this test drive. So we do not say that there's a direct correlation, take a summer at Duke and get into Duke, but many students who have had a successful experience in a top college over the summer, this will help to improve your portfolio. One thing to keep in mind when you're applying for colleges is you don't want to just do a bunch of stuff, right, all over the place. You want to try to narrow your focus a bit. And so admissions office will be looking for what is your passion, what is your interest, what is your drive, and then look for this constellation of activities around that passion. This is your time in high school for you to begin exploring that passion, exploring your dreams and your desires of what you want to study. And so taking a summer program at a top university can help you to define your passion, can help you to set yourself above other students through these activities. Is that helpful?
Was that helpful for you, Adil? In any case, let's get started on some of the other questions. How many credit courses are available for the summer college program?
Students in the 4-week term are allowed to take 1 credit class. As I said, it's quite intense. You're taking a full semester course, so you're putting it into 1 month. 2 hours in class every day, 3 to 6 hours of independent study. And so even college students are not allowed to take more than 1 class over a 4-week period of time.
Thank you. This is actually an interesting question. Would the university cater to a guardian visa for the middle school program?
A guardian visa meaning having a chaperone come to the program?
Yes. Yep.
So we actually would discourage this because we want all of our students to have the same experience. If one student comes and they have their parent with them or a guardian with them, this could mean that they're not having the same opportunity to have the same experience as everyone else. We have a full residential and academic staff to help the students with any issues which may come up. And so we want to make sure that all the students are fully invested in the program and not going, off to dinner with their parents every night or going off to activities. So that's not something that we would encourage.
And if I could add to that, Adil, I think that even if there was, even if, say, a parent were to go and drop off their child to the summer program, he or she is going to be applying for a B-type visa anyway, which is going to be a visitor-type visa, which will have nothing to do with the summer program itself. If you want to know more about the visas and stuff, do get in touch with me. Another question was, anything related to medical microbiology or bacteriology in the summer school?
So this year, I'm happy to let you guys know that our biology department at Duke really stepped up and they offered some fascinating classes. I would encourage you to go look on our website under Duke Daytime Classes. That's under our summer college program. And there's the entire listing of classes there that you want to look at. But there are many biology classes this year, which we're excited about.
Fair enough. I know that some of these questions are very repetitive, but thank you, Dr. Charles, for actually going through them. Does Duke University provide any credits for the IB diploma program?
So this is a question that sounds like it's relating to our undergraduate admissions office. In that case, I would say either email the question to me and I can direct you to the admissions office, the appropriate people to answer that question, or write directly to undergraduate admissions to get an answer to that question.
Wonderful. And then another thing is, are we supposed to choose only one of the daytime courses?
We ask you to choose 4. And by choosing 4, you would rank your top 4. And we ask you to rank your top 4 choices. In the event that maybe your first or second choice has filled already, then we know where to place you after you've been accepted to the program. So while you will give us a ranking of your top 4 choices, we will ultimately enroll you in one of those choices.
Thank you. And I think one more question. What exactly would the public speaking aspect of the program expose us to?
So what I hear from our students in that class is not only do they get the experience in public speaking, but they also learn many of the skills and tricks to be able to feel more comfortable in public speaking. One thing I hear from students is, I'm really uncomfortable speaking publicly. I'm really shy. Well, so am I. It's not something that comes naturally. It's not something that I particularly enjoy speaking to hundreds of people at a time. I find it a little bit intimidating. It makes me nervous. However, I find that with the skills that I develop and with the practice, that I'm able to overcome much of this nervousness. I'm able to communicate my ideas to a larger audience. And our public speaking class will be able to not only provide those skills, but also give you that practice so you're feeling more and more comfortable as you speak to a large group of people.
I think most of you also, the participants specifically, should be fine because, you know, many of them have debates, MUNs as part of their extracurricular activities while they're in school.
Oh, that's great.
Yes. One more question. Are the students allowed to leave campus during the program?
Right. So as I said, we treat our students like responsible young adults. But at the same time, safety is our primary concern with having students invited to our campus. Therefore, students are allowed to use the Duke bus, which is a bus that takes them from one side of campus, our east campus, to our west campus, and back and forth. Students are not allowed to take an Uber or public transportation because, again, safety. We don't know who that Uber driver is. We don't know, necessarily what public system students are taking. So they are confined to using the Duke bus. But this bus then can take them a bit off campus. We do have boundaries where students are allowed to go if they are going by themselves. And then within that boundary, we have a Duke staff member. And that staff member is there in the event that a student might get hurt or might feel threatened in some way. We ask that students travel in at least groups of 2, if not more, so that they're not just going off by themselves. And then, of course, we have activities that are off campus where we will take a staff member, for example, outlet shopping or the ball game, things like that. So students, yes, they are permitted to leave campus using within the structure that we have set up, which still remains highly vigilant towards safety, where the students are still allowed to go explore some areas off campus.
Wonderful. And last question, is the health insurance part of the price?
So the rules of health insurance, we use the urgent care, and after the urgent care, if a student needed to see a physician, they would go to the ER. We, of course, would accompany the student there. We do not have a physician within our program or even a nurse because we're not physicians. We do not provide the health care. So if they were to go to urgent care or to the ER, the requirement would be that they have health insurance that is written by a company with a U.S. address. If you do not have health insurance written by a company with a U.S. address, we'll give you a link to pick up something called short-term health insurance. And this company can work directly with you to choose the type of health insurance that you want. The way this works with short-term health insurance is there's minimal coverage or maximum coverage. Everything that has to do with your choices of health care and health insurance is a private decision, and we would not give recommendations for what you should purchase or what would work for you. This is something that you would want to work out as a personal decision within your family and with your physician. So we do have a company we will refer you to, and then if you do not have health insurance that is written by a company with a U.S. address.
Thank you so much. Anyone have any last few questions?
We do.
Sorry.
That's okay, Rafaela. We do require that students provide proof of that insurance with their medical forms before they're allowed to come onto campus. Okay, go ahead.
Anyone have any last few questions? Go ahead and answer them. Go ahead and ask away. If not, I just wanted to let you guys know what I'd rather ask you. Are you guys okay to receive an email from Dr. Nikki Charles by any chance? Is it okay? Because what I'm going to be doing is, instead of you guys sending me emails saying, can I please have her email address, etc., that I just send a list of the participants today. Great. Okay, everybody's saying yes, yes, yes. Great. So what I'll do is I'll probably just send you an email, Dr. Charles, saying that these were the participants in today's webinars, and please feel free to reach out to them directly if you wanted to send them more links or a catalog or anything about the summer session. Would that be okay?
That'd be great. Happy to do that. And I really wanted to thank the students for taking time to learn a bit about how a summer program in the U.S. can benefit international students as they're looking at coming to college in the U.S. and again, answer any questions about Duke's program individually.
Thank you for talking to us today. All right, everybody, take care. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, you guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Dr. Charles. Bye-bye.